The builders of India's heritage, yajnavalkya, the exponent of true knowledge. King Janaka held a conference of the renowned scholars of his country and offered 1,000 cows, their horns adorned with gold, to the greatest among them. However strongly each scholar might have desired to be declared the greatest, nobody could stand before Yajnavalkya. In a brilliant debate, he defeated them all and won the 1,000 cows. Great was Yajnavalkya for his knowledge, and he was ever eager to impart true knowledge to others. In this, he found the traditional Brahmin Pandits often creating obstacles by their rigid adherence to rituals. Without any regard for truth, he did not hesitate to raise his voice against such blind scholars. When the Brahmins defended themselves by quoting passages from the Rig Veda and giving them wrong twists, he asked his disciples to never mind the Rig Veda itself. He led the seekers to find a profound truth in a simple manner. Here is an example from a dialogue between King Janaka and himself. O Yajnavalkya, asked King Janaka, what is the light for man? The sun, O king, for by it man sees, works, and returns home, replied the sage. So indeed it is, O Yajnavalkya, but when the sun has set, what is the light for man? Asked the king. The moon, for by it man sees, works, and returns home, replied the sage. But when the sun has set and the moon has set, what is the light for man? Asked the king. Fire, for by its light man sees, works, and returns home, replied the sage. But when the sun and the moon have set and the fire has gone out, what is then the light for man? Asked the king. Speech, for by it man sees, works, and returns home. Therefore, O king, when one even cannot see one's own hand clearly, one can follow a voice which one hears, replied the sage. So indeed it is, O Yajnavalkya, but when the sun and the moon have set and the fire has gone out and the speech is hushed, what is then the light for man? Asked the king. The soul is the light then, O king, replied the sage. Yajnavalkya insisted on sincere disciple in spiritual life and yoga. It is believed that he was the first sage to popularize the secrets of yoga. His self-confidence was often taken as pride. Once his guru, Vaishyasambayan, desired to perform a certain kind of penance. He assembled all his disciples and asked them to do the work. On his behalf, Yajnavalkya knew that most of the disciples were unfit for participating in such a holy work. He offered to do everything himself. This infuriated the Guru. Refund me all the knowledge you have received from me, he told the disciple angrily. Yajnavalkya immediately spewed out the knowledge he had received. The other disciples at once turned to Titri birds, partridges, and ate up the scattered knowledge. The story perhaps is symbolic, as Yajnavalkya spoke out the digest of the lessons he had learned from his guru. Each of the other disciples remembered a small portion of it, equivalent to the food eaten up by the tiny Titri. Later, they put their shares together. The text that was born is known as the Taittiriya Samhita. Yajnavalkya then retired into solitude and devoted himself to invoking the sun god, the source of all knowledge. He did his tapasya for long and the sun god was pleased. The god appeared before him in the form of a horse and gave him knowledge far greater than he had learnt from his guru. The text of his new knowledge is known as the White Yajurveda, for it is clean, while the text of his earlier utterances, the Taittiriya, is known as the Black Yajurveda, for that is rather obscure. Thank you so much for watching. Support us by subscribing our channel.